Welcome to the Capital Gains Tax Solutions podcast, where we believe most high net worth individuals and those who help them struggle with clarifying their capital gains tax deferral options. Not having a clear plan is the enemy, and using a proven tax deferral strategy, such as the Deferred Sales Trust, is the best way for you to grow your wealth. I'm your host, Brett Swarts. In each episode, I am joined by some of the best real estate, financial, and wealth minds in the world, where they share their ideas, deal stories, and inspiration, so together we can make complex tax deferral strategies simple and passive income plans achievable. I'm excited about our next guest. He is a real estate pro, and he is on a mission to help you, the average Joe or Jill, find a turnkey real estate investing business that can help you grow wealth very fast. In fact, he's the founder of Joe Homebuyer Franchise, and he teaches people how to use this to grow their wealth. He actually gave up a lucrative career in sales and took a leap of faith to create financial independence for himself and his family. And in a short amount of time, he built the Joe Homebuyer franchise model into a multi-million-dollar company. Through franchising, he provides the blueprint for his operations that enables anyone with some grit to be successful in real estate investing. Please welcome to the show with me, Mark Stubler. Hey, Mark, how you doing?
Hey, thank you so much, Brett. Good to be here.
Excellent. So why didn't you just call it the Mark, the average Mark, home buyer? Why you got to beat up on Joe like that?
I don't know. We love the name and it's growing on us. And funny enough, we have two franchisees, one in Vegas and another one in Utah that are with their first name, Joe. So I think it was inspired. We've got some good guys we're working with that fit the name and that we've picked. So
that's great. That's a good land for them, right? They're like, hey, my name's already Joe, baby.
That's right. I'm the original G. I'm the OG. That's right.
The OG. Right on. Well, would you give our listeners a little bit more about your story and your current focus?
Yeah, thank you. So, I love real estate. Brett, just in short discussion with you, we've collaborated on that. I feel fortunate to be in an industry that I believe just provides an opportunity to create wealth. And I like it because, there's lots of industries, lots of opportunities out there. And I think that's important for us to remember as well. But what I like about real estate is the margin just can be spectacular. You can go from being the average Joe with not a lot of money, not a lot of things going your way. And you can really do some special things in real estate. And it doesn't take a ton of transactions to really create a different trajectory financially. And for me, I've just been in the industry 5 years. I came from a completely different industry. Sure, I did the one rehab with a buddy, didn't know what we did. We broke even, did a rental type scenario, but no real experience in real estate. And with my journey of wanting to be an entrepreneur, I decided that I needed to decide. In fact, I actually dabbled with Amazon business because I like the passive nature of an Amazon business. I did some research there, took some light courses trying to figure out what was going to be best for my path. And I just feel fortunate. I ended up on the real estate path now 5 years ago. We've done hundreds of transactions, worked with hundreds of families, provided lots of value in our marketplaces. We specialize in the wholesaling and rehabbing. We also keep rentals. As the opportunity presents itself, we're getting better at the subject to type deals, but just learning so much and feel fortunate to be in an industry that I think you can just really be rewarded by and make some great income.
Absolutely. Absolutely love cash flowing, producing real estate investing, and being a real estate entrepreneur, right? Because that's really what it is. You're running a business and the product is real estate. And the people that you serve are the tenants and the families that, whether it's multifamily, single family, senior housing, mobile home parks, or other types, right? And so knowing that and running it like a business is really cool. And I'm excited to dive into that part of the franchising model. But before we go there, Mark, I want to take one step back and I want to help. I want to get to know you. And I want to help our listeners to get to know you as well. So I believe we've all been given certain gifts, Mark, and these gifts are given to us to be a blessing to others. So I want you to go back maybe to the high school days, junior high days. Some people call these superpowers. I think they're God-given gifts.
Sure.
So I'm curious, what are the gifts that you've been given? Maybe one or two. And how does that help how you help people today?
Well, I think I appreciate you asking that question. I absolutely love it. And this will be fun to dive into. One of the, to use the word gift that I think that I recognized early on is this, maybe tenacity is the word that came to mind, that I don't really take no for an answer. And I try to be respectful to those that give me a no occasionally and not overdo my welcome. But at the same time, I don't see an obstacle like most people do. An obstacle when you see a no or a boundary that says, hey, this just isn't possible. It just makes me think, okay, no, it's not possible this way, but what are the alternatives? What's a third alternative? What's a creative way to massage that no into a maybe or a yes? And I think that that's become really something that's been really advantageous for myself, my organizations, the team I work with, and then obviously our franchisees, to hopefully instill this idea that, hustle, urgency, grit, that type of thing. But I use the word tenacity because that's a part of just who we've become as Joe, is adopting these ideas and overcoming hurdles and working through problems, become really good at problem solving. So the first one is tenacity. And then the second one that comes to mind is grateful. For whatever reason, I just have always, and I feel blessed to have maybe this God-given natural gift of feeling grateful. I often just reflect regularly on a daily basis of, the people that have influenced me, strengthened me. I just naturally get overwhelmed with gratitude for the opportunity that real estate is. I've mentioned that. And then I just a sense for working with families. Obviously, in our business of real estate, there's an opportunity to really provide a real service. There's lots of people in my space, particularly in single family, multifamily type thing, where the owner of the property needs to be relieved of either a distressed property or a distressed situation or both. And I just feel fortunate to be in front of them and to present our offering and to provide a real solution. And so gratitude, I feel like, has been a big one. I just feel like I just naturally appreciate the opportunities that are afforded me. And I think that's, something that helps keep me grounded, but also, hungry to just get out there and do more of it.
Absolutely love it. Yeah, tenacity and being grateful and thankful for what you've been given and the opportunity and the people you get to serve. And also tenacity makes me think of the book Rhinoceros Success. So all of our new team members in the first 30 days, they read that book. And that if there's one word that describes that book, it is tenacity. And so I love that. What is a third alternative? And maybe there's another way, right? And so cool. What's the most rewarding part of what you do?
Well, our mission at Joe Homebuyer is actually improving lives by delivering creative real estate solutions. Each week we have a Tuesday team meeting, and every time we have a segment dedicated to seller stories. So probably the most rewarding is, obviously we make a lot of money, but the beautiful thing is you can make a lot of money providing a ton of value. So each week we have a segment dedicated to seller stories, where we talk about what we did to provide real solutions outside of a fair cash offer on the property, outside of, the transaction. What were the other things we did to provide real value? And in our marketplace, we've been able to get more Google reviews, video testimonials. So it's just fun to see the imprint that we're making in our marketplace. The most rewarding part, simply said, is just providing real value in our marketplace for, pretty complex issues or can be complex issues, and getting creative to solve those problems.
Yeah, I couldn't say it better than myself in regards to what we strive to do as well, right? And I think what every company should try to do, and you got to celebrate those wins, and then bring the real stories to life, right? And connect the back end and all the work, blood, sweat, and tears to the actual transformation that you're providing for folks, right? So I absolutely love that. Would you give us an example of how your service helps others get that transformational, deal done?
Yeah, we've had a couple families. We've done some pretty out of the box type things. I think at the time we shipped somebody's car to North Dakota. That's simple. That's easy. That's just a couple $1,000s. But probably the most risky in terms of, hey, this could backfire a little bit, is when you have somebody that says, hey, I need cash for this amount of time. I want to sell you my house, but I want to rent it back for you for 6 months. And I want first right of rescission to buy it back from you type thing. And we've had a couple of those where we're like, all right, if this really is, what you're looking for, we need to structure it so, it has both of our interests, and it's just a collaborative sales type thing. It's not cutthroat. It's not, it's all right, what do you think is a reasonable price we charge you for this to mitigate our risk and, the unknowns. But this idea, on more than one occasion, we worked with a family even recently that he just needed cash for a transaction for just a small period of time, but he really didn't want to leave this house. It was mom's house. He inherited it. He took a lot of pride into it. And it was this idea of, all right, well, this is unique, but if this is a way for you to have fill that gap short term, let's do it. And we just craft an agreement that is very customized and catered to what they're seeking. And so that's fun. And I feel like there's so many ways to provide value in the marketplace that aren't cookie cutter. Sure, a cash offer, everybody can do that. But can we be mindful of ways to provide, in addition to a fair price, other ideas and solutions, allowing them to stay in their home for 30 days after getting cash so that they can make a smooth transition, helping them relocate, providing a dumpster. Again, everybody talks about that these things are part of the game, but how often do they actually do it? And that's kind of our mantra, or at least we try to, really live by those principles.
Absolutely love it. Yep. That adding value beyond just the numbers, right? But finding solutions for families and connecting the dots. So that's really neat. So let's dive into the franchise part of the model here. So at what point did you become fascinated with helping others duplicate what you've been doing, right? Because at a certain point, I think we all are successful enough in our own businesses and we're making enough money that we're looking to something to give back more, leave a legacy, or help others do the same and have that same kind of transformation. So walk us through that transition and then walk us through exactly what the steps are to get started with you.
I appreciate that. So I'm a father of 4, and this is kind of where my mind goes when you ask me that question, like, where did I kind of have the transformation of I wanted to, give this opportunity to others? I think, a lot of my energy goes towards, I have 1 boy and 3 girls. A lot of my energy goes through, finding a balance between giving my son an opportunity versus, he has to obviously come out and capture the opportunity and take action himself. And I'm realizing that as a parent that, we all have a responsibility to, each individual has a responsibility to make the most of who they're becoming. And Joe is something that, we feel very fortunate to have created. We're grateful for the success, but it's okay. Now, can we put this in a turnkey model that we can then put out there into the marketplace? And those that want to create more, want to be entrepreneurs, or that are already entrepreneurs and saying, you know what, I want to have a passive business, or entrepreneurs that, have down in the dumps, they've had moderate success in other things, but they want to capture the upside that real estate create more for themselves. And all we have to do is team up with those people that are hungry to accomplish more, hungry to, develop themselves and become, the best version of what they're trying to accomplish. And it goes hand in hand, because we can have a great product. If we have somebody that's not really working, it's not going to thrive. If we don't produce a good product, but we have a great person, it's going to falter. So we have a responsibility to produce a good product, and a lot of support, ongoing implementation. But teaming up with people that are committed to their own success and really buying in to the opportunity. And with Joe, it's a big commitment, but it's also a great opportunity. So for those that are thinking, all right, I'm ready to get into real estate, and I don't want to, start from scratch. I can go to a seminar, I can receive a coach, and those are great. In fact, I had a mentor, but I want to jump ahead 2, 3, 4, 5 years. That's what we afford you. We'd love to sit down and talk with you, virtually. Come out and visit our office in Utah. But step 1 is learn more about the opportunity, and dive into it and find out if our turnkey system, tap into how we market, how we set goals and implement strategies for acquisition, and then certainly how we leverage the exit strategies to capture as much revenue as possible, and tap into our actual systems that you can leverage so that you don't have to reinvent the wheel. You can leverage our team so you're not having to hire as many people. So those are some of the byproducts of working with Joe, and maybe the avatar of what type of person might thrive as they look at this as an opportunity.
Beautiful. Absolutely love it. And so you're and then you personally own in Utah and in Texas, right? Are those the
Yep.
2 places? And then how many franchises now, and what states are those in?
Yeah, so we have Florida, Georgia, Vegas. I guess that's not a state, but Nevada, 2 in Phoenix, 3 in Dallas, Idaho, 3 in Utah, 15 total locations as a whole. Oh, in Denver, it was our most recent, and North Carolina, Greensboro is just a new addition. So we're really excited to just be off and running.
Beautiful. And so, and just to clarify, it's in the single family fix and flip space.
Yeah, wholesaling, fix and flip, small single family or single family and small multifamily is generally where where our marketing is going to have the most impact.
4 units and below.
Say that again.
Like 4 units and below when you say
Yes,
the
4 units and below. That's
okay.
right. That's right.
Awesome. Okay, so COVID-19, the marketplace, opportunities, right? Predictions. Today's election day, right? So,
Hey, that's not fair. You're asking me on election day. You should have given me at least, this has to take place at least before I'm free to guess, and after I have some knowledge. I got nothing.
I hear you. So I guess do you beyond the election, what's happening, right? Do you anticipate opportunities for distressed sellers given what's happened, or even just the economy itself? Because we've had a record, kind of run here for
Right.
appreciation and prices going up, at least here in California for sure, right? Um,
Absolutely.
what do you see in 2021 or 2022? And how are you positioning the Joe franchise model to be able to help people out, but also to make some good profit there?
Well, that's what I love about real estate is you can make money regardless of what the economy does. And that's one of the things we help navigate as a Joe Homebuyer franchisor. We help our franchisees navigate, the ebbs and flows of the market. At the end of the day, there is going to be a time, and I'm not certain whether it's going to be 2021 or 22, but there will be impacts from COVID that will mean there's more distressed sellers. More distressed sellers means more properties for, franchisees like ours. But there are necessary pivots when there's a plethora of, or a surplus of properties in the marketplace. That means that you have to get better at different aspects of the business, which would include, negotiating lower prices because the margins are going to be tighter. You also are going to have less cash buyers buying your wholesale deals, and you also have to get, make sure that you're broad in terms of your exit strategies, including fix and flips, because when there's more offerings out there, your margins can suffer if you don't manage those couple things. On the flip side, when the market is really robust like it is now, when you find a property, that's why I don't keep as many rentals as I'd like right now, is because the market is so good. My buyers are paying just extraordinary amounts for properties. And so, I have this threshold. Hey, if I don't get this amount, I'm going to keep it as a rental, but they knock it out of the park every time. And so I'm not compelled, but I choose to take the revenue now so I can continue to capital. And so hopefully I've answered your questions there, but at the end of the day, there will be a time that our market has that change, and we can benefit from both aspects of it. It's just making sure that we pivot accordingly.
Yeah, it makes perfect sense. And so now let's dive into the capital gains tax part of that, or the ordinary income, right? Because of the way that the deals are structured. So how many fix and flips are you turning per year? And are you right now? It sounds like you're probably paying ordinary income tax on that. Is that a fair summary?
Yep, ordinary tax. And I'm, in my Utah market, I might do 100 some odd properties between wholesaling and rehabs, but again, both would fall under that same tax bracket.
Excellent. And if there was a way where you could literally just defer that and park it into something like a deferred sales trust, and that becomes kind of like a self-directed IRA, if you will, or kind of like a 1031 exchange, and then you can go do more deals out of this thing and just keep rolling it in and building this up and saving somewhere between, I don't know, let's say 25 to 40% on every deal. Would that be of value to you, Mark?
The deferred sales trust is definitely a value to me. At the end of the day, I pay way too much in taxes, and yes, so I'm not getting. Well, I shouldn't say that. I'm grateful to have taxes to pay. That means we live in a blessed country. But yes, deferred sales trust is definitely something I need to do more about, learn more about.
Full disclosure, Mark's learning about this for the first time, so I'm kind of putting him on the spot here. We talked briefly before this, so he probably doesn't really know much about it at all. But if you're listening, you can go to capitalgainstaxsolutions.com and get a free consultation. But one of the beauties of the deferred sales trust is that it's called the net income tax advantage, meaning once you sell something and you can defer and roll it into this trust, you can defer the payments to you, and therefore you can lower your actual net income tax personally, right? And so this trust, it's kind of like a 401k in a sense, where you're parking this money here, right, up into this spot, call it the trust, call it, and then all of it, the interest that it earns can just roll on top of itself. And then likewise, you can use the funds to go hard money lending, real estate investing. We just did a deal, a $7.6 million deal in Georgia, and he paid off all of his debt, deferred about $1 million in tax, and then he's put it into hard money lending as well as multifamily and purchases passively, which is also a cool part about it. And then he's going to roll it back into this trust and defer more tax, get more tax incentives. So It's just a strategy, just a tool, and you can learn more about that at capitalgainstaxsolutions.com. That being said, are you ready for the lightning round, Mark?
I'm ready. Let's go.
All right. Knowing what you know now, if you could go back to your 25-year-old self, what's the one golden nugget you would make sure that you would do?
Oh man, the cliches are going to come out because there's too many just default answers to this. But my 25-year-old self is I would stop worrying and I'd start working. This idea that we spend so much time in analysis paralysis of learning, and applying some of it. At the end of the day, I just get to work and be okay with not batting 1,000 on everything, making a mistake once in a while, and just be okay with imperfection and just move forward. And I think I would overthink things too much, worry a little bit too much, rather than just take action and being okay with, hey, failure is part of the game. It refines you, it moves you forward, and fell faster type thing. And again, I forewarned you there'd be some cliches in there, and I think I listed 3 or 4 of them. But if I could go back to my 25-year-old self, I think it'd be worry less and just take more action.
Beautiful. Love it. Yeah, I'm reading a book called Mentor to Millions by Kevin Harrington, and he talks about when we're setting plans or strategic goals and such, basically get 70 to 80% of the way there and then go take action. And if you're over planning or taking too long, you probably waited too long, you probably over planned, and you're doing yourself a disservice because eventually you run out of time and or money. And so what you want to do is just plan up to a certain point, about 70 to 80% of whatever it is, and then go take action and then pivot, right? And learn from those things. And then of course, failures are what are a good thing, right? In the sense that you don't plan to fail, you plan to succeed, but the failure teaches you what you need to do so you can succeed on the next one. So I think that's well said. What is the one book you've recommended or gifted the most in the past year, Mark?
My classic is 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership by John Maxwell. I'm of this opinion that the better leader that I become, the more opportunities I attract, and the better people I've been able to surround myself by. So I really like books on leadership, and that's just a catalyst for me.
Love John Maxwell. Love that book. I'm also reading his other one, like Great Vision or the Leader, Greatest Return of a Leader. He has so many books. Any John Maxwell books.
I think it's 40 or 50 books. Yeah, it's crazy. And there's so many.
And they're all so good, right? You're like, no, he's not saying the same thing. He's saying better things. It has more anecdotes, and he's just incredible. I love John Maxwell. Give me a mobile or digital resource you recommend for your business.
Ooh, mobile or digital resource. Okay. Notes on my iPhone. Simple. But I've just found it to be because it syncs with the Mac, and I just like notes. It's been a little ninja trick to capture details and then be able to pick it up on my computer or my phone anytime.
Beautiful. Favorite leadership quote or theme that you strive to live by?
Let's see if I can quote this one on the spot here. Horace Mann, the educator, shared one: to recognize human suffering is human. And I'm botching it a little bit, but to do something about it is godlike. Basically, this idea that, yeah,
speaks for itself, right? Yeah, to actually do something is like God. To recognize it's just human, right?
Yeah,
beautiful. What are you curious about right now?
Ooh, I'm really on this journey to really discover what my full potential is, and so I'm curious about can I get more done in less time? Can I challenge others to accomplish more? And honestly, it goes back to that whole leadership thing. Can I become this leader that people want to be around and want to follow? But to me, a lot of my curiosities and aspirations are to really develop as a leader.
Beautiful, love it. Last question, Mark, and it's centered around you. And after all your success, real estate investing, teaching a bunch of people, franchising, blowing up $1 million business, how do you stay centered, Mark, in your values? And how do you stay encouraged to charge forward to reach new goals?
Oh, wow. Well, how I stay centered is I have a very, ordinary morning routine where every day I'm feeding myself the same thing. And I'm feeding myself, meaning I have this habit of waking up and having 10 minutes of gratitude, 10 minutes of inspirational, and 10 minutes of journaling. So I set the tone every day to, what I'm trying to accomplish so that I can have a crystal clear vision of what I'm trying to accomplish for the day. And, obviously it goes back to that clarity. If I know exactly what I'm trying to accomplish for the day, deviations or distractions or shiny objects or even temptations, hopefully don't have power over me because I've stayed grounded. I started my day correctly. I found that I'm at my weakest when I'm fatigued, not getting the sleep that I want. I'm out of my morning routine. And, then those shiny objects or those temptations or those distractions have more power over me. But when I'm crystal clear on what I'm trying to accomplish, I'm able to stay centered and focused on what's most important.
That is so well said, and I like that. I like that. It's a little bit different than a lot of morning routines, but similar too. But 10 minutes of gratitude, 10 minutes of inspiration, and then 10 minutes of journaling, and that helps give you the clarity for the day and helps to defeat some of the temptations or the shiny objects that can get in your way. By the way, I also relate with you too on the other part of it, and I actually have a little acronym for that I teach my team, and it's called HALT-C, HALTC. Whenever we're hungry, angry, lonely, tired, or in conflict, we're most vulnerable to temptation, to saying something in a way that we shouldn't have said it, to making unwise decision, right? So HALT-C, hungry, angry, lonely, tired, or in conflict, and then we all, generally speaking, have one or two of those that are like our weakness, our weaker ones we got to be really careful about, right? And then other ones maybe not, they don't bother us as much, but everyone's a little bit different. So just kind of figure out which one of those and kind of go back and kind of do like a reflection are the ones that are my bigger triggers, right? And then so be extra cautious or extra thoughtful about ways to put yourself in a better spot, if that makes sense.
Hey, I have to tell you, that took me, I wrote down every one of those. HALT-C. And
Hungry,
thank you for sharing
angry,
that.
lonely, tired, or in conflict.
In conflict. I love it. I go straight to being a dad and thinking, hey, this is a new topic I can share with my teenagers. I love that. That's such a great acronym. I love it.
Isn't it good?
That's powerful.
Yeah, I learned it from a leader somewhere. Maybe it was like a John Maxwell book. I don't know, but
that's so great.
That being said, Mark, I want to thank you for being on the show. That really wraps everything up here. I want to maybe give our listeners, remind them where they can find you, and give them one last thought of encouragement here for their real estate investing. And also I just want to personally thank you for being on the show, sharing a part of your story, inspiring me and our audience to go and create, preserve more wealth and be better leaders. So with that, I'll give you the last word.
Hey, thank you so much, Brett. And it's been a privilege. And really, I've gotten a lot of takeaways. I've enjoyed the heck out of this. Please find me at joehomebuyer.com. You can find me, Mark Stubler, LinkedIn or Facebook. Would love to connect with you. I'm like any listener, I imagine, in the sense that I'm hungry to learn about how I can improve individually and how I can, I think we can probably relate to that. And also, this idea that we have aspirations within real estate to accomplish great things, create a legacy for our families. So I'm hopeful that, I shared some things that will be a catalyst for growth. You're fortunate to be following Brett. If you're listening to this, you're already on the right track. So compliments to listeners that are learning and pouring into themselves to improve. For me, it's the continuous improvement that provides us all opportunities. And so kudos to you for already being on that journey. And I'm grateful that I could be on this show with you today, Brett.
Beautiful. Thanks, Mark. He's Mark. I'm Brett. And check out Joe Homebuyer for sure. And listeners, thanks again for listening. We appreciate you. I want to encourage you to go use the gifts and talents you've been given to bless others today. And as well, if you're selling a highly appreciated asset and you're struggling with capital gains tax, by the way, it could be a primary home. It could be a business. It could be cryptocurrency, stocks, bonds, mutual funds, anything that's highly appreciated. Go to capitalgainstaxsolutions.com. We have a solution for you. And with that, we appreciate you. Thanks, everybody. Please rate, review, subscribe. Bye, everybody.